Yes, welcome everyone here to the Smash Sports Show right here on Smash FM here on lockdown Thursday here in Melbourne. Of course, let's go out to our friends up in Brisbane in particular. Of course, this weekend is the final round of the NPLW competition in Queensland. And, of course, with South United in particular, they'll be hoping to keep themselves in a race for finals positions. Of course, we've got three very special guests joining us right now to tell us a bit about it. Thanks, all three, for joining us.
Thanks for having us, Will.
Thanks for having us.
Well, I will get each of you to introduce yourselves and tell us, obviously for the players, what position you'll play on the field and obviously your involvements there at South United. And yourself.
Coach, the head coach, Gary French, the head coach, also plays centre forward whenever we have a kickabout on the field, picking the team and, just enjoying a really good season with these girls.
My name's Amy and I play in the midfield, usually the number 10, so attacking midfield. And yeah, I guess anywhere in the midfield really where Gary puts me. Sometimes centre forward, you never know. I could end up in goalkeeper on the weekend.
Possibly.
But yeah, no, usually the number 10. Yeah.
I'm Maria Castano. I'm playing midfielder.
This weekend is your last round of the regular season before finals. I guess how is it looking going into its finals?
Yeah, we didn't quite make finals actually, Will. We got some injuries. The second part of the season, it split off into the 8. We was just unfortunate really that we got quite a few injuries to our team. Obviously it didn't help us, so we are going to miss out. So we still like to finish off as high as we can, which will probably, hopefully 5th. So, but it's still a great effort from the team. Yeah.
Back to the start of the year, obviously when there was 16 teams in the competition, how important was it, especially for the first half of the season, to be in that top 8, to stay in the NPL going into 2022?
I guess that was also always the emphasis from Gary at the start of the season, always to try and start the season off strong, because I guess we knew halfway throughout the season this year, being the first year they actually split the draw, that the top 8 would go in together and then the bottom 8 would go into the FQPL. So I guess for us girls as well, knowing that would happen in the middle of the season really made us, I guess, wanted just to fight and just try and do our best, because I know a lot of us, we didn't want to get obviously relegated down to FQPL. So yeah, I guess in the back of our mind, it was also like a good way for us to think, all right, every game counts and it's important to have a strong start to the season, just so we didn't end up in the bottom 8. And like Gary said, yeah, we ended up doing really well and ended up being in the top 8. So yeah, I guess when the draw did split, it was unfortunate when we had injuries, but I suppose at the end of the day, we made the top 8. So that's always a positive.
Yeah, I think, obviously once we knew that it was going to be top 8, that was the goal. But I think, and it's an old cliche, but I think it really was like one game at a time. I thought it was really, really competitive, the league. Every single game that we played, I mean, there were good sides like Olympic, Western Pride, Virginia, Brisbane City. They were all hard physical games that we had to play. They were never easy games for us. So obviously it was just a case really of taking one game at a time and obviously hoping we got the 3 points, which, we did, but we had to work really, really hard to get those points. Yeah. So, but once we made that top 8, it was a big relief, because the thing is the players that we've got, they want to be playing against the best week in and week out. They need to be challenged all the time to become better players. So I think it's a great achievement for South to get there.
You mentioned it was a relief to get past that first stage and get into the NPL and obviously beating the top 8 for the year. You mentioned about the injuries that happened in the second half of the season. I guess I know this is going to sound a really silly question, because I asked the same question to another team that's in the same situation in the NPL as well. Was that, I guess, sort of a bit of a buffer, knowing that, you're not going to go down, like you can sort of work on things and knowing that you're going to stay in NPL going into 2022?
No, we never thought like that, because the moment it was split, everything that we tried to do was make finals. So our focus from that moment of making top 8, we were 5 points clear at one time of the 5th team. So no, our whole goal was to carry on as best we can and try and make finals. But and I'm not being funny, but Key here, we lost Key, and she's a massive big part of our team. And obviously she's now got a contract to play for the Raw, and you're always going to miss a player like Key. So it was without doubt very, very difficult for us because we lost that balance from the team that we had. Yeah.
I need to ask you this question. Obviously, you guys just mentioned that you were out injured with injury. How is that traveling for you? Are you hopefully come back on the field soon?
Just because we were talking about it in the car today. It's been about 4 weeks since Key done her knee, and obviously, she's just a little bit concerned now. Although she's in good hands, and obviously she's having treatment, so it's definitely getting better for her. We was just talking about it. I think just about another 2 more weeks, and I think that it will start to get stronger. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I made a run around the field the other night, and she had to try and catch me
At Gary's pace, which is snail pace.
Will, seriously.
My grandparents could run faster than Gary does.
No, seriously, Will. See, this is what I don't like, the lack of respect.
This is
for
what
the
he loves.
It's a lack of respect they have for the coach, yeah. I set off at a good pace, and I asked Key to try and catch me, all right? And obviously she said to me after, because I was a long way ahead, Gary, I'm not that fast yet. Give me a bit more time. Is that right?
Yeah.
Other way around. He was waiting for Gary to catch up, and Gary's at the back and hop along.
But the good news is, Will, no, seriously, the good news is that she's within 2 weeks. I think she'll be back.
I'm assuming you've got a couple of youth players coming through the team that we should watch out for in the future.
Oh yeah, we have. We've used a lot of the 23 players that have come into the squad, obviously with our injuries and everything like that. We've got the twin girls, Kylie and Monica Vecchio. They're from Cairns. They come over from Cairns, and to be fair to them, they've had a lot of playing time for the team, so they've been great for us, and I expect them to develop again to try and get a starting position for next year. And then we've had quite a few of the other 23s that have come through. A couple of them have actually gone to the US on scholarships. Okay. So obviously, that's something that we do promote anyway, because it's another pathway for their development. But yeah, we definitely have had 2 or 3 other girls that have come into the squad and done really well. So yeah, it's really good. We've got 2 players at the moment that are regulars, Dominic Spampinato and Jacinta Sullivan. So 2 years ago, they came with our under-18s. Now they're regulars in the Open. So it's something that we definitely do promote the younger players to bring them in.
You mentioned about some of those players that are going to college or have already gone to college. Tell us a couple of those players that you mentioned.
Yeah, Kaylee Lincoln was one of our players. Kaylee, she's been with South for about 5 years. She, our under 15s at the time, won the grand final. Kaylee was a big part of that. So then she moved into our under 18s, did really, really well. And then she was trying to hold down a position in our midfield, which was hard for her because she's up against these 2 in here. Which, to be fair, we do have a strong, very, very strong midfield. But she was starting to break in, did really well. Then we had another player called Lauren Kirkby. She's in Chicago now. Same thing with Lauren. She's been with us for about 5 or 6 years. Her development has been great. So, at the end of the day, if they get an opportunity to go to the US, that's something that we definitely support. And to be honest, Amy can tell you, Amy has been with me for a number of years. Amy went to Georgia, and you had a fantastic time, didn't you, Amy?
Yeah, I loved it. I guess it's one of those experiences that you always dreamt of going. Like my brother was over there before me, and he always just said, if you ever get the opportunity or the chance to come over, definitely take it up. And yeah, I look back now and you just think how fast the 4 years went. But yeah, the people you meet and just the places you get to visit over there, on whether it's on holidays or vacation, or whether it's on soccer trips, it's something that I tell a lot of the younger girls at South, and even a couple of the girls I coach at school. I say, definitely worth the opportunity. Whether you go over there and you don't enjoy it and you come back, at least you've given it a go, and just to see what it's like. But yeah, it's awesome 4 years, and definitely goes quick.
How's the preparations like going to the last game of the season?
Tell you after tonight, if we try. I'll see who turns up.
Might have 2, might have 20.
No, seriously, Will. It's Thursday nights is great. We always have a look at how we're playing QAS. We'll have a look how they play. Just look at the strengths and the weaknesses. Although they had a great win, actually. They beat Kapalaba, who were second, I think, in the league. So they've done really well. We'll be prepared and everything like that. And obviously, we want to finish on a high. It's last game of the season, and it's been a fantastic season, to be honest. Team spirit's been great. So there's a lot of things there's a lot of positives that we can take. But you always want to finish on a high, don't you? So that's what we're trying to do.
How did all you get involved in the World Game, and why did you choose it?
Oh, that's a good question. So I have an older brother who's 2 years older than me, and I pretty much looked up to him as a kid, and anything he did, I said to Mum, I want to do what he does. So he played soccer, he played tennis and a few other sports, and whenever he was at soccer training, I was always there kicking a ball around when I was little, 3, 4, 5. So I think starting at such a young age and just watching him play and going to his games on the weekends with my parents, sort of, I guess I was around the sport from a young age. So yeah, I suppose that was what got me into it, to be honest, just watching him and being around him all the time. And he was always kicking a ball at the backyard, so I'd always join in with him and just hang out. And if his mates came over, we all always kicked the ball. And yeah, I suppose just having him around really got me into it. And I think the other thing was just a team sport. I love being surrounded by a group of girls, or obviously at a younger age, just kids in general. So I think that's what really made me interested in the sport. Yeah.
8 years old, Key's been playing since she was 8.
My friend invited me playing soccer, so I just
Said yes.
Yes, I just said yes.
Both of you mentioned right at the start what position you both play on the field. If you had a preferred position, we'd love to convince your coaches to put you this weekend. Where would that be?
Where I've played all season. He's done well. I think he knows where I've always been a midfielder, so he knows where I play best. He knows that I don't really like defending, so he keeps me up as a 10. So I'll be 10 on the weekend again.
She gets the shakes if she has to go back into her own goal area. She starts to shake. So.
Get a little lost back there.
So to be honest, Will, I tell her that she can go up high up the field where she doesn't have to do the running.
And then Key-san can do the running for me.
Key does everything, seriously.
She's everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
What does the sport, the World Game, into all three of you, and especially being at South?
I mean, we have fantastic facilities here. Actually, Will, whenever you make it to Queensland, if they ever let you back, you should come here because the fields are magnificent. So it's a nice environment to come into. Even all the even all the junior ones. You know, Key does some coaching for our little SAP girls, the under 10s. So Key actually helps out with the coaching, and she would be the first one to tell you, so respectful of all the kids that we have here. And I just think it is a good environment to bring your kids to play at South. Yeah.
I think with our team, especially this year, we've had a really good, just really good with all of us girls. We all get along really well. We've got great team spirit this year, which really helps, you know, coming to training and all being there together. I think with our team as well, we spend a lot of time outside of soccer together on the weekends, whether it's going to the beach or hanging at each other's houses. So we have that good, relationship with each other where we can really relate with each other. And yeah, I suppose that helps on the field, of course, just communicating. But I think that's probably what.
And the club,
really,
yeah, and also like the club, like even tonight, this is our final training session, and Tracy, the president, is paying for all the food. The club's paying for the food for us. So that's always a nice thing. On the downside, it's always Japanese food, you know what I mean? We have.
I love Japanese.
Yeah, no, I love Japanese, but not every week. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes, you know,
mix it up. Pizza it is tonight for the last week.
Is it?
It is.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh.
No Japanese tonight. Sorry, Kisan.
Yeah.
I have to ask, obviously you've got one of the players that's playing for the Brisbane Roar in the W League, of course, this coming season. What does that mean to you to be recognised and play for the Roar?
Yeah, I mean, it just obviously, it's a huge, big thing for Key to be recognised. We all know that she's one of the best players in the NPL. So we've always known that. But sometimes we have a lot of players that just don't get that opportunity. But, you know, Key's been given this opportunity now. So, you know, obviously it means a lot to her. And, you know, her parents who are in Japan, they're always watching all the live stream games, watching her play. So I can only imagine how proud they would seeing her daughter come to Australia, now playing in the highest level of women's football in Australia. So yeah, it must be amazing feeling for Key to get this far. And all of us here at South, we're so happy for her. You know, we totally support her. We're very, very happy for her. Yeah.
Any embarrassing moments by anyone on the team this season, and what was it?
Oh, yeah, I can think of one.
Go on, guys.
Yeah. Well, remember me telling you about the injuries that we've had? We've had quite a few injuries.
Yeah.
So it's obviously been a problem for us. So we're playing Lions. It's a big game for us. And there's a good crowd. And we're into 10 seconds of the game. And then Jacinta Sullivan, our defender's gone down in a heap. No one's around her. And she's just lying there in agony. So I think I even heard her scream, to be honest. So the referee stopped the game, and obviously everyone's concerned and everything like that. So after 2 minutes of the trainer running out, they realised she stepped on her shoelace and she tripped herself over. I know. Honestly, I'm not joking. The girls know that. She actually tripped, but she didn't want to get up because she was so embarrassed. And there's me thinking the worst. And but the good news was, actually, I know, Will, the good news is, once she tied her laces up and the ref let her back out of the field, she did a great job as well. You know, so.
She made up for it. From then on in, she thought, you know what, I have to play a good game today.
Yeah. I've never, actually, Will, I know we laugh, but I've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah.
Somebody actually running backwards and tripping on their own laces and lying flat on their back for about 2 minutes, but that's the truth. Yeah.
Well, yeah, especially 10 seconds in the game.
and against Lions.
Yeah,
Worst combination.
Yeah, try to distract the Lions off their game, I guess. But that's the only thing I can think of.
It was frightening, though, to be honest.
Yeah.
Will. When you see the physio run out with a pair of scissors to cut the laces, you know, you do panic a bit.
Who's the comedian, the best singer, and the best dancer on the team?
I would have said Rita Marshall,
Yeah.
but she's moved up north. Her mum lives up north, so she moved up north when I think a month ago, or a bit longer. So I would have said Rita Marshall as the funniest. Singer, I'd have to say Kiri Dale. Kiri Dale breaks out in the locker room before the games with a good little karaoke or whatever she's got up her sleeve. And dancer, oh God, honest, we're all pretty crap dancers.
You can dance, eh?
I give it a good go. I get up there, I get on the table and
I think I have seen you dance before.
I get up there and see what I can do. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that'd be.
Yeah, I think you, Amy's dancing. She's a good dancer, actually. No, she is. Yeah.
What is seen?
I've seen some of the videos. Yeah.
Hit the town.
Any pre-game superstition or ritual?
Funny you asked that question. We were actually talking about this our last home game, and one of the girls said they always put their left boot on before they ride. One always has to listen to the same song.
Oh, no.
Every time before the game, always has to be this one song. Other than that, the girls, I don't think we really have any. I don't have any. I used to have to wear the same sports bra and bike shorts if I scored or played a good game. I'd wear that until I played terrible, and I'd swap it over. Do you have any superstition? Nothing. Yeah, I think that's about it, really.
He likes to be late. I know when I pick her up, she always likes to be late.
Oh,
That's
Gary
it.
has opened a can of worms. The reason why she's late is because Gary is her driver. We passed Gary on the highway going 60 and we're like, oh, that's Gary French. My granddad drives faster than Gaz.
Oh.
He's too.
There's two players that won't be playing on the weekend, Will.
Oh.
And the good news is more 23s are going to be given their opportunity. So it's great.
Oh, you just shot yourself in the foot here. Last two questions. Now, I have to ask, considering you've got a couple of overseas players in the team, has the team tried to put obviously you got an amazing Japanese player on here. Has the team tried to put a Japanese accent, and how's that going?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We actually did this on the weekend when we were at my house. On Sunday, we were all sitting around the table and Key said something and one of the girls actually tried and it turned out Indian. We looked at her and we were like, that is not Japanese. She was just there and we're like, that was 100% Indian. And we just lost it for like, oh, it was hilarious. And then someone else tried and it sounded even more Indian. So never again.
Mind you, Key does a good Australian accent if you want to hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
G'day, mate. So.
She's a bit shy. She doesn't want to do an Australian accent, but she does a very good Australian accent.
After a few champagne, she has a great Australian accent.
Anyone that should get involved in the World Game, especially down there at South, what will be your advice to people?
Like looking at all our younger players, you mean giving them advice about everything? Well, I think one of the things is that, especially with the younger ones, you tell them to follow their dreams, to play at the highest level. And I'm not being funny, you could end up like he getting into the W League. You can end up with Amy in a full scholarship in the US, getting an education and getting to play for 4 years. So we've got so many good role models at this club, and that's being honest, we really have. And the only advice I could get them, especially playing, is you've got players in the Opens that you can look up to. Our other captain, Kiri Dale, she was at the University of Hawaii, and I mean, how fantastic is that to be in Hawaii? I mean, myself and Amy, actually, we went over there to watch her play in her senior year. And you know, it's my thing is, like I say, you know, just work really hard at your game, follow your dreams, and if you know, if you're fortunate enough, you could end up like these two.
Well, all three, thank you so much for giving up your time prior to your last training session for the season. And we want to wish you all the best for that final game. Hopefully finish off the season really well. And I guess looking forward to an amazing 2022 down there at South United.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure, Will.
Because that is the South United, of course, National Premier League women's team. Of course, if you want to get down to that final game, South United take on QAS. We'll put all the details up on how you can go about getting involved and, of course, getting down there to support the team in their last game this weekend. There's more on the Smash Sport Show right after this. Don't go away here on the 10th year celebration.